Thank you for meeting with me today here. I'm going to start with my first question. How easy is it to find parking on campus?
So, that's a great question. I oftentimes find it extremely difficult to find convenient on campus parking. Being a business major, Hannah Hall, if I'm ever coming from a surrounding area, I am local, it makes it extremely hard to park in the direct area of Hannah Hall. I can always go down to even the Chick-fil-A parking, but not so much anymore after they've been handing out tickets. So to answer your question, it's quite difficult to find parking on campus.
All right. How often do you struggle to find parking on campus?
I would say, about every day. Sundays, it's a little bit easier during the day. It's because a lot of kids from campus commute or are locals. So honestly, probably 6 out of the 7 days of the week.
All right. Um, where do you usually try or attempt to find parking on campus?
Yeah, so I stay in Willison Hall. So I try to park there, and I also try to park around like the calf, going up if it's raining, or the commuter and faculty parking right around the Hannah Hall and Stover building.
Uh, do you think there are enough parking spaces for students and faculty on campus?
100% no. No, there's definitely not. Even I know my professors, they oftentimes are, hey, sorry, I'm a minute late to class. I couldn't find parking. I had to park 2-3 blocks away, and I feel like that is a safety issue and also a convenience issue that can drive people away.
So you touched on being late. So have you ever been late to class, and how often does that happen?
Yeah, so I have been. I've been late a couple times. It doesn't happen a lot. I'm not driving in a lot. Like I said, I am a on campus student, but I do work. So if I'm coming from work, it can be hard for me to find parking through the day.
How expensive is parking on campus? Do you have to pay for a permit, or what is that like?
Yeah, we do have a permit we have to pay for. I can't remember exactly. I think it's about $25, 25 or $30.
And do you feel that those parking permits are fairly priced?
No, I don't. I don't. The considering the amount of times I'm actually able to use it. No, I don't think they're fairly priced because I oftentimes find myself parking on city property, and that doesn't require a parking pass.
Have you ever received a parking ticket on campus?
I have. I've actually got a couple this week. So
Okay. How safe do you feel parking in campus, like on the campus parking areas?
yeah, so in campus or on campus parking, I feel safe. I feel safe on campus.
How far do you usually have to walk from your parking spot to get to class or your dorm or the dining hall?
Oh boy. Well, that's one of those, back to your other questions, day to day. It's sometimes I find myself walking from Wilson Hall all the way up to the calf, or if I want to go to chapel on a Tuesday, I find it difficult, and I'm dealing with a leg injury right now, so that makes it even more so difficult. So I encounter that often.
Okay. So do you sometimes avoid driving to campus or driving on campus because of the parking situation?
1,000,000%. I don't like moving my car around. I know a lot of my peers don't like moving their vehicles around. I feel like everything moves better when people just keep their cars parked and don't move it around.
So I know you said you were a resident student, but how reliable do you think parking is for commuters if you were to put yourself in their shoes?
I would say extremely unreliable. I again, touched on having classes, and with those, I'm seeing professors late. But to your question there, I mean, I see my fellow peers that commute late often. I mean, you got to get here extremely early, or you're going to be late.
Do you think that the university should use more of their resources to make more parking or build more parking structures around campus?
Yes, yes, I think they should definitely use some more resources, or I like that last bit you put in there. Make a way to create more parking.
Would you be willing to pay more money than you already do on top of the permit for guaranteed parking?
No, I wouldn't, because I feel as if the school's profit margin is already pretty high there, and they could charge a couple more dollars, make it like a flat 30 if it's 25, or make it 25 if it's, raise it $5, I feel would be appropriate. But, the cost of material to create those parking passes are minimal. You're talking dollars. So for every parking pass, a university probably makes $20. So, if they charge 25, they're making $20. So I feel like it would make students more inclined to actually purchase the parking pass when they know they're going to be in a advantageous situation.
Do you feel that the parking rules are strictly enforced here on campus?
Yes and no. I feel like that's a day-to-day thing. You could go weeks with parking illegally and not get a ticket, and you can go one time, on a random Wednesday, you get a parking ticket. It just depends.
How accessible is parking for students with disabilities, do you think?
I think that's one of the things that this university does well with their parking situation is I feel as if, and I don't know the handicap percentage to tell you exactly, but I feel that we are definitely accommodating as a university there.
Have you ever thought about leaving early to find a parking spot on campus, like leaving earlier than you would for class?
Yeah, 1,000%. I actually mentioned that in my one of your previous questions there. You definitely have to leave early to get parking, or you're going to be parking three blocks away. You may be in Hannah Hall parking by the Justice Department.
So what would you say the biggest, if you had to pinpoint one, what is the biggest issue with the parking on campus?
Just not enough, and there's just not enough parking, and with more parking, I feel like would mitigate a lot of issues.
And if you could suggest one change, what do you think would help improve the most the parking situation?
So the one change I would propose to our higher ups, our board of trustees, and the president would be, we have those two big parks kind of right in the middle of campus. Let's take a portion of each park and make that on campus parking.
All right, thank you very much. That was all the questions I had, sir. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.